All right, so this might be the most important video that you watch from my channel because I'm gonna give you 9 proven niches that are profitable, that are growing, that are gonna always be growing, and also I'm gonna share with you how I've been able to build multiple businesses on the back end of, well, 2 of these niches, but how I've been able to do it by really focusing in on a niche. And you're gonna see as we go through these, I'm gonna share with you some sub niches and how you can turn a smaller niche into a really profitable business. All right, so that's what I'm gonna be sharing with you. Now, I'm planning on releasing more videos in this series. So this here is going to be like one of like 8 or 9 because the very first part of getting started on YouTube and really finding direction so you get started with the right foundation is choosing the right niche, all right? And so this here is, like I said, going to be one of several because I'm gonna walk you through what it looks like to build a YouTube channel, but also how to come up with good titles, good content, how to get good engagement, how to monetize, all of that stuff, but it's built on the back end of a good niche. And like I said, I've been doing this now for 15 years. I actually have a channel right now, Brand Creators, which is just about at 100,000 subscribers. And that channel has done over 7 figures alone over the years. So just realize that I'm gonna share with you from my experience from the last 15 years. Now, I am gonna be cheating a little bit. I've got my notepad here. I know, it's fancy. I didn't even bring the laptop out tonight. Oh, another thing. I'm gonna be having a beverage, non-alcoholic. It's going to be Liquid Death. I don't know if you've ever tried this, but I'm a fan, and maybe one day they'll sponsor the YouTube channel. But let's get started. So the very first thing I want to share with you in one of the niches, I'm not in this niche, but it's thriving. It's always going to be thriving. And I want you to also think to yourself, if you're in a profession right now, that might be your niche because you have expertise in it. And that's actually what led me into my first niche, and I'll talk about that. But the first one is personal finance. So if you're at all in the personal finance world, okay, that could be like helping people with budgeting. That could be helping people with accounting. It could be a CPA, bookkeeping, any of that stuff, okay? Anything that falls under personal finance, people with their money. Like how to manage it better. Like I said, taxes, any of that stuff is gonna fall underneath there. And again, you can kind of go and kind of drill in, but that is always gonna be there. Why? Because people are always gonna wanna budget their money. They're gonna wanna do good things with their money. They're gonna wanna make more money. Now, again, that's another niche. We'll talk about that one. But personal finance is always gonna be around. Think about it. It's never going to go away. Now, let me talk about this next one. And this next one actually is similar to personal finance, but it's a sub niche of that in a sense, because it has to do with your money and what you're going to do when you want to retire. So retirement's a big one. I'm 52 right now, and I am interested in hearing about retirement. Now, sure, I've been thinking about it before when I was in my 40s and even earlier, but as you get closer to that age, you start thinking a little bit more about it. So retirement, anything about retirement, maybe you retired, and I've seen some people right now lately, they're sharing their experience of just retiring at like 50 years old or 55 years old, or there's the FIRE movement. That's another one. So anything to do with retirement, maybe you're of age, or maybe you're getting ready to retire, or maybe you just retired and you're gonna share what it's like to be retired and maybe some tips and tricks and things like that. So that's another big niche that's never gonna go anywhere because, well, people are gonna be getting jobs at 18 or 20 and they're going to be working and then they're going to need to retire. And even if they didn't take the course of like going through and working for corporate or whatever, they're still going to be thinking about retirement, planning for retirement, semi-retirement, full-time retirement, all of that stuff. All right, so retirement, that's a big one. Now, the next one is real estate. Again, something we've all been involved in. Now, this could be also renting. Now, the one that's come on the scene as of lately, and I say lately, the last 5 years, is Airbnb, short-term rentals. That was me. I have a lake home, and I Airbnb it. And I went down that road about 6 years ago now, and that was a great decision, by the way. But I went down the rabbit hole, and I watched other people's videos to help me understand about short-term rental. Again, that's real estate, but we could go down a whole bunch of different avenues with real estate, right? We could talk about how to become a real estate agent, okay? We could talk about commercial real estate. We could talk about land real estate, whether we're a buyer or a seller, or we are an agent. Maybe we want to get more leads for our real estate business. All that's house flipping. So all of that stuff kind of falls under real estate. Again, not going to go anywhere. There's always going to be people buying houses, selling houses, renting houses, and now with short-term rental, that's not going away either, okay? People are going to be doing that for a very, very long time. All right, looking at my list here, I'm cheating. Oh, kind of right along the lines of real estate is mortgages or financing, okay? So this could be mortgages, and again, that kind of goes into real estate, but maybe you're just a mortgage broker and you want to give people tips and tricks about what you've learned over the last 20 years because you've been a mortgage broker. That's something that is never going to probably go away. You're going to talk about interest rates. You're going to be talking about, what it takes to qualify and all of these things that are going to help people get a mortgage, or it's going to help people get into the brokerage business. See, there's always a couple of different angles that you can go after these niches. But again, I'm talking about niches that are not going to go anywhere and they're very, very profitable, okay? Let me just pause and call a timeout for a second. As you can see, a lot of these are professions, okay, for people, like you might be in this profession, or it's also you on the other end of it that's like, oh, I'm looking to buy a house, okay? I want to share right now how we got involved in our first niche, and it did have to do with a profession. And this isn't on my list because it's more or less a profession, but it's also a niche inside of a niche, a sub-niche, all right? And that is photography. So my wife and I started our photography business part-time, okay? And we did this years ago, going back 20 years ago now. And that's actually the first business that we owned. It was a brick and mortar. And we built that on the side. But as I got involved in that, I started to learn about photography, but I also got to learn about marketing and everything else that went along with that. So from there, that's where I started my first YouTube channel. And that channel was called New Portrait Biz. I've shared it here on the channel before, and I talked about it. And that channel only has right now 16,000 subscribers. I haven't touched it in years. I'm not doing anything with it right now, but that thing had made us over 6 figures per year for several years, okay? Because what we did was we took our profession that we knew a lot about because we were in the trenches, and then we just went on YouTube and started helping people that wanted to start their own photography business. And so that's where we went. Or we also helped people that wanted to learn about editing photos or how to restore photos, old picture that you wanted to bring back to life. That was me. I helped people with that, with Photoshop, and I learned Photoshop, and so I taught it. So a lot of times these different niches that we're talking about are professions, but they're also things that people are always going to be interested in or always going to be needing. Photography, probably not going to ever go away. Even if you're only shooting pictures yourself and you're not hiring anybody anymore, you still got to learn how to take better pictures, okay? Or to get better lighting. Like right now I'm running out of light, so I'm hoping I'm going to have enough here. So photography, that's what our thing was. And that thing, and here's the deal too. It was a small little sub-niche, right? It was photography and it was children's photography, okay? Meaning family photography, where we took pictures of infants, toddlers, family portraits. We would do baptisms. We would do first communions. We even went up to and did graduation pictures, okay? But what I'm saying is we didn't do weddings. That's a whole nother sub-niche that's big, okay? And so my point is you can take one of these smaller niches and you can turn it into a very successful business on the back end of YouTube, okay? So that's that. Professions. Look at your professions. As you can see, I did like retirement planning or personal finance. You could be a financial advisor and you're going to share tips there. Okay, next one, moving on. This is number 5, and that is, and this is another industry that I was in is construction, okay? I just shared this the other day on a video where I basically was calling out to anyone that's a contractor, anyone that's a construction worker, you're sitting on a gold mine. Because if you're in the construction field, okay, and I'm gonna use like concrete, if you're a mason right now, you can be teaching people about how to become a mason. You can also be teaching homeowners how to do certain jobs, and then you can film jobs that you're doing. And I actually showed an example of that where someone was filming a lot of their jobs, getting the crew there. They had an issue where they ran out of concrete, and then they were showing what they were gonna do to try to make the load go further. And that thing had like 50, 60,000 views. The channel's got like 400,000 or 500,000 subscribers. And I looked at, there's a tool called View Stats, and I could see that they were making between, I believe it was like $8,000 and $18,000 a month in just ad revenue. That's not to do, that has nothing to do with like the tools, you know, all that stuff. So really, really important that you understand if you're in an industry, okay, and we can take, you know, construction, and we can go, okay, we have people that are putting in septic tanks every day. Well, maybe you start a septic tank, you know, channel, and you go on the job and you show you pulling out an old one and putting in a new one, right? There's so much opportunity there, and it's never gonna go away, okay? Never gonna go away. And people love watching that stuff to either learn, or they just like watching concrete being poured and seeing if the job gets done, okay? So construction, I can go down in a bunch of different angles. We can go electrician, we can go plumber. I didn't even put this in here, but we can forget about construction workers, mechanics, okay? Blue collar jobs, that's what we're talking about here. Landscapers, we can say sheetrockers, roofers, all of that stuff. So there's so much that you can do, and that is never going. You see how there's a trend here? There's never going to be anything going away here, all right? These are gonna be here forever, okay? All right, so that's construction. The next one is along the lines of construction, but this is home repair. This is the homeowner that's looking to get a kitchen remodeled. And they're either gonna do it themselves or they're going to hire someone, so they wanna see what's involved. So you could start a YouTube channel on home repair. It could be bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, it could be basement restoration, it could be bonus rooms, it could be finishing a garage over, it could be doing garage floors, cabinets, all of that stuff. It could be walk-in closets, it could be all of that stuff that you're doing for home repair or home remodel, all right? And that could be for the DIYer, right? The do-it-yourselfer. So home repair, never going anywhere, really, really popular, and can do really well on YouTube. And I know I'm throwing a lot of different scenarios with you, but this is just what comes to mind for me because I see the top level niche and then I can drill down in it. Just like I said, if we're looking at professions, a photographer is a profession. That's what I was interested in, and that's what I was doing as a living. So I just went and started to put it out there on YouTube, and I turned that into a six-figure business, which allowed me to be able to leave my regular 9 to 5. And by the way, what am I at here? I'm at number 6. I've got 3 more to cover. Here's what I should say. This what we're doing right now, this exercise, is really to get you to think about what you have knowledge in, what you have resources that you can share, things like that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to finding the niche, and then from there, we talk about creating content, getting the attention of the audience. Then from there, we talk about building the relationship with the audience, and then we talk about monetizing the audience. That's what I call the arm of this business, all right, or this business model. ARM, attention, relationship, and monetization, money, okay? I actually did a full live stream on this. I'll link it up in the description if you wanna watch that. I also have my 100K YouTube blueprint. It's actually a little mind map that's all laid out with all of the steps that I went over in that. If you want a copy of that, just put 100K in the comments and I'll send it to you. Just 100K in the comments and I'll send you a copy of that. But again, this is going to be a part of a series of videos. So after this video, we'll go into the next step. But for right now, let's keep going here. Let me take a quick sip of my Liquid Death. It's really good too. It's mango chainsaw. Let me know in the comments, have you tried the Liquid Death? It's good. It's very, very good. Okay, moving on. So the next one, again, something else that we all need and it's never going to go away. Relationship advice, okay? This could be getting married. This could be getting a divorce. Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. I've been married 30 years, by the way, happily married, just celebrated. So relationship advice could be dating. It could be, how to get your marriage back on track. It could be any of that stuff. But relationship advice is something, again, that we all are involved in. So if you have been a therapist, if you have been a coach that has helped people in relationships, or maybe you've just had a really, really healthy marriage for 30 years and you want to talk about what you've done in your marriage over the years, the ups, the downs, and what you've done to make it better. Like there's nothing saying you have to be a certified, therapist to do it. Now, if you're giving, advice that would require you to be a doctor, then yes, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about like you could just basically say, I've been happily married for 30 years. Here's what we have done over the years. We ran into a snag when we were about 10 years in. We have 3 kids. We went to therapy. This is what we learned. Like you could literally go through that, and then you can just give little tips on how to keep your marriage fresh and good and all that stuff. So relationship advice is another one. Okay, the 8th one, and this one here has made me the most money to date, and that is how to make money. How to make money. There's so many different avenues we can go here. Now, the cool thing is when I first started, it was in photography. And I was showing people how we were able to build a 6-figure business, a brick and mortar business. And all I was doing was sharing our steps that we learned along the way to shortcut the process for new people, okay? And because of that, we were able to then share that and teach people. And some of them had success. Some of them didn't because they didn't stick with it or whatever. I can't say for certain. There's no guarantees ever. But I did that, okay? And so then I was really showing people how to earn income and market their photography business as well, okay? Then from there, I went over and started an e-commerce brand, and I was selling on Amazon. That was going well. So I decided to start a podcast, and I shared that on my Brand Creators channel, and that blew up. And I was able to do multiple 7 figures with that pivot, okay? Then from there, I kind of pivoted, still in the e-commerce space on Brand Creators, and moved into building websites, blogs that got content sites up and making money through Mediavine and AdThrive and Ezoic. These are ad networks, if you don't know what they are. And basically was showing people how to build these, what I called like a niche property, which was like a rental property that you got paid for, which I still have 2 of them right now that are earning me just about $1,100 a month, and I'm not doing a thing. So that was something that I learned, I did, and then I taught, and I made some money along the way. And then as of late, we have gotten into selling on Etsy. And now I'm documenting that, and I'm sharing what we're doing. See? So I'm sharing what I'm doing along the way, but that's the how to make money niche. And that does really well, and guess what? People are always gonna wanna make extra money or money and go full time. So that's the make money niche, okay? The last one, again, is never gonna go away, and that is health and fitness. All right, I just, turned 52. I wanna be in shape. I wanna keep those guns going, I want to stay healthy. It's not about, those days are over about, trying to just impress people with, the big muscles. I just want to be in shape. I want to have strong legs, strong back. I want to be able to walk, bend down, stand up, and just be a kid still. But health and fitness is big, and it can be at all ages. And you can niche this down and be like, health and fitness for over 40, health and fitness for over 50. You get the idea. It could be, maybe you're into keto. Maybe you're into, carnivore, whatever the diet is, okay? So that stuff. Maybe you had a really good transformation and then you share that and you share what you did. So health and fitness, people are always gonna wanna get healthier. They're always gonna wanna, get in shape, all right? So those are the 9 that I have for you. We have personal finance, retirement planning, real estate, mortgages, construction, home repair, relationship advice, make money, health and fitness. All right, and you saw that I kind of went into different areas with that as well. So once we get that, all right, so once I chose that I was gonna do the photography thing, then it's a matter of, okay, now what? I gotta get attention, right? The A, the R, and the M. And the first step is the A, which is getting the attention. How do we get attention? We do this. We show up on camera, we post it to YouTube, and we speak to the audience that we want to attract. All right? Now, the number one thing that you have to do next is come up with good content ideas. It's not even about creating the content yet, it's about creating the good titles that'll get the attention, and then you figure out the content. What I'm gonna do in the next video is I am going to walk you through how to come up with content ideas, all right? And if you wanna watch that video, I'm gonna go ahead and put it right here, and you can watch that video next. That'll be video number 2. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna build on what we just did here. We found the niche, now we're gonna come up with content ideas so we can get the attention. Watch that video next, and I'll see you there.